graduated, elevated. Now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Major moves, power moves, take it to the top one time, non-stop.
Hello and welcome to Ph.D. Hard Talk. I wanted to take this opportunity to reintroduce myself to everybody that's recently followed, and also to say thank you to everybody that's followed me on this journey. 6 series in, I think 7, we're still going, so thank you again. Who am I? I am Noma Mguni. I'm currently a PhD researcher at the University of Derby. I'm looking at women's career progression, what it looks like, what it shouldn't look like. Maybe we're not interested in having a career as women. Who knows, right? That's my research. So once I publish, make sure you read my research. That's number one. What does Noma do outside of academia? So Noma works in HR. I am like a detective in terms of casework. I'm strategic and I make decisions. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but who knows? Life goes on, right? No, I joke with you. I'm very compliant when needed be, and I'm very strategic as well. So, going back to PhD Hard Talk, what made me start PhD Hard Talk? I started this YouTube channel because I believed in the fact that we need our voices to be heard globally. And also in terms of dissemination, it's always good to have a discussion because you can identify your blind spots while you're talking to somebody. I think we've done that, 6 series in, we're still going. And in regards to the added benefits, those who've then gone on to start their businesses, I've spoken to them about their businesses on PhD Hard Talk. I've been educated and I hope everybody at home has been educated. So, that's project dissemination to the world. In terms of sustainable knowledge to the world, I get asked this question or I get feedback. Well, Noma, do you know what? Why don't you get some lippy on or lipstick, and do your face and look very appealing? And I always say, I am selling knowledge and it's niche. It's not everybody that's after knowledge, and it's not everybody who wants to do something with that knowledge. So why should I manhandle my face, literally, or metaphorically speaking, and do so much to my face to look a certain way? Is it for viewings? What is it for? Because I believe what we're doing is very impactful in the communities where we conduct our research, because they get to understand what we're after, why we're doing it, and also we get to champion their voices when we have these conversations. We talk about what we learned, reflections, what was said, why it was said, and the lived experiences of our participants help us to become who we are. Without the participants, we have nothing. Again, in terms of discussion and PhD Hard Talk, without your colleagues, you have nothing. Because in order for you to learn, or in order for you to take the next step forward, you need to listen to the lived experiences of your colleagues. Then you can make a well-informed decision. So that is why we have PhD Hard Talk. It is all about amplifying our voices in academia and also in the communities in which we conduct our research in. Also, I always think about the next generations. If they wanted to be a scientist, we'll say biology, or whatever they wanted to do, the information is now there, it's free and it's accessible. And when my colleagues come on this platform and they talk about their journeys in terms of when they decided that this is the path, some of them decided when they were quite young, actually, and others waited till they were 50, to make that decision. So there is no right or wrong way. What I'm saying is this knowledge that we share on this platform is relevant, maybe for a few, maybe a lot of people, But what I'm not going to do is, try and sell something that isn't there. And I think with knowledge, you have to have a passion for it, and you have to want to read, essentially, and enjoy reading and be a detective with words if you're in social sciences like me, or be in the labs, play with your bacteria, whatever you're playing with, pipette, 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 whatever floats your boat. I don't know if I've said that word properly, but that's a story for another day. Correct me in the comments. But what I'm trying to say to you is selling knowledge is quite difficult, right? And I get all of this feedback in terms of what I should look like, what I should do. But the actual reality is I have to think of the vision and why I started this, which was to disseminate knowledge and also to ensure that knowledge was sustainable for this generation and the next and the one after that. So that is the passion behind PhD Hard Talk. Pardon my little vent. So in regards to first year PhD, then, if you're in social sciences, you have to go in with a game plan, right? Be prepared, be ready, think about why you're there, whether you went through scholarship or self-funding, whatever you're doing, think about why am I here? What do I need to achieve in the first 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months? That project plan is key. Same thing with second year. And when you apply for your ethics approval, you have to think ahead, network, ask questions, liaise with your colleagues so that that path is much easier, but also learn. As they always say, right? Someone without work experience, someone with a work experience. Which one's the better candidate? You always go for the one with work experience. So all of the trials and tribulations that you go through during your PhD journey, they are not for nothing, right? They make you who you are. The journey is the PhD. So those who keep asking, when do you finish? Mind your own business. Literally, mind your own business, right? Because it is a journey and we don't know when we're going to finish. And I think that's the most stressful thing to ask a PhD student is, when do you finish? Or a DBA researcher or student. It is very, very stressful because sometimes you just don't know. Because you can't control your research findings, you can't control your participants, you can't control life. Life just happens during your PhD. And for somebody to come in when you applied by yourself and ask you a question and say, when do you finish? I feel like that's inappropriate, but that is my opinion. But I'm speaking on behalf of all the PhDs that I've spoken to who've said to me, actually, that's inappropriate. And some DBAs as well. Have you published? Is it your business? Why are you asking me that question? Check on Google, right? Don't ask me that question. Again, that's a trigger point. Because to publish, you go through such a rigorous process, essentially, where you're getting feedback, you're getting desperate rejections. It takes such a long time. And while you're still building your muscle when you're exercising and somebody is asking you, have you published? Why are you comparing me to X when I'm A, right? So please, let's be dignified and think about our questions before we ask anybody that's going through the process in terms of PhD and DBA, right? So think about it. And then the final question is, when are you getting married? Is it your business again? Why are you asking me? Did I ask you before you got married or you got divorced? Why are you asking me such a question? Again, we have to think about people's mental health, because to get into a career, sometimes you sacrifice so much and sometimes you don't. And a PhD is a career. To get into it, some people, they're so invested in their research that they don't think about life in terms of what they could achieve outside of that PhD. So when you ask these questions, you're triggering them. And when you're gone, they're the ones to suffer and to go through all of these emotions. And it's not a nice place to be. So please be caring again. If you're a family member, if you're in the support bubble, or if you're just a passerby, just don't do it. And little comments to say you don't have a life, you're always doing this. What constitutes having a life? Because everybody's passions are different. So where do you get the audacity to ask such a question? Because what I enjoy doing, you don't. So why are you asking that question? Are you just trying to trigger that person? Again, I'm speaking on behalf of all of my colleagues to say, let's be mindful. Let's think about our questions before we ask them. Think of how this is going to make this person feel, right? And now to my PhD community and DBA community, make sure you have a support bubble. People who are honest, who will tell you, actually, you spent too much time reading. It's time to have fun, enjoy, because we forget to live our lives. We do, it is true. But also, I don't want to be asked questions at the same time to say, well, why are you not doing this? You're not having fun. You're always reading. Why are you always reading? That is my business. Offer me an olive branch and say, let's go out. Let's do A, B, C, D. I will definitely try and make time, right? Because to take a break from your research is actually healthy and it helps you to be productive. So that's something that we need to think about. Now, to move on from that, in terms of planning our careers, again, start to speak to your supervisors, your PIs, and have that conversation. Ask for guidance and make a well-informed decision if you're in your final year, 3rd or 4th or 8th year, essentially. It is always good to inquire because maybe you don't want to be in academia. But I will tell you this, from all the conversations that I've had with different colleagues who come from different backgrounds, I will say academia or industry is toxic. You have to be a professional. And I don't mean like it's toxic. I mean the environment can be toxic either way because you're working with people and we're a variable that you can't control. I can choose to be nice today. I can choose to be horrible tomorrow. I can choose to be a bully. I can choose to harass you. You could be the common enemy. Why? Because you have so much expertise and knowledge, so we want to destroy you. You cannot control what we do and how we react, but you can control how you react. So I would like to think that is the same in any industry, because where there are people, behaviors follow. Good, bad, and ugly. So when you're making your decision, don't say, oh, I can't be in academia because there's so much red tape. When you get to industry, there is red tape too. Look at Dr. Alex Forden's video. He left industry, and we had this discussion when he came back again as a guest this year, whereby, he believed that there wouldn't be so much red tape. Now he's gone to industry and he's realized actually it's the same thing. If I want to add this app onto my laptop, I have to fill in this form. It has to go to my line manager. This person has to approve it. The head of IT has to approve this, that. It's such a long-winded process, which is the same as academia. So please do not be misinformed. As long as you work for an institution, whether private, public, or whatever, you have to follow their guidelines. Otherwise, you'll be out. Going to Dr. Gia's comment, Dr. Gia said basically that, we say publish or perish, but in order for you to be in academia, you need to publish. So it's either you're playing the same game or you're out. And I think when we had that discussion, we touched on, I believe it was football and another sport, to say you can't be playing rugby when everybody's playing football, because then you're out. You have to play football with everybody. You can't choose to be different because you won't survive. So if, in terms of that job requirement, it is you need to publish. Work on your publications. If it is you need to be in 3-star, that's the career path that you've chosen. If you go in industry and you want to be an MD or head of operations or quality manager, again, you need to be compliant because the rules of the game are you need A, B, C, D. So you have to play the game according to the blueprint that you've been given. If you try and go against that, I know sometimes we're really passionate and we want to fight, we want to do so much, but sometimes, it's just okay not to be okay, but to play the game while you're not okay, because you know what the big picture is. Now, moving on from that, in terms of PhD Hard Talk, I want to say thank you to everybody that's believed in my vision, that supported me, and also to my team. I know sometimes I stress you out, and sometimes we make errors, grammatical errors, sometimes videos are posted and things are still copied and pasted from elsewhere. I know you see it at home. We know, because we then realize that it wasn't done properly. But, we're still trying to figure it out. We're not there yet, but I believe that we will be there at some point. So please bear with us and always share feedback in terms of how we can improve the platform to make it better, user-friendly and very accessible. I believe the content sells itself. I don't think we need to do any more, but that is my opinion, and I am in groupthink with my own thoughts. However, I welcome all feedback from all of you at home in terms of what could be done a bit better. Now, what's next with PhD Hard Talk? We're working on that. I'll be able to share soon, but thank you again for your time and for your patience. And to all the guests, I'll always say thank you. PhD Hard Talk wouldn't be PhD Hard Talk without you. I've met so many people. I've learned so much. And sometimes I can't believe it that it's me on YouTube. I didn't think, I know my page is not that big, but I didn't think I would sit down with so many people and that so many people would actually want to have a conversation with myself. It's very humbling, and I'm very grateful and very thankful, and I appreciate all of you, and I just want to say thank you.